Thank you. Welcome to the regular scheduled board meeting for Silver Creek School Corporation, March 14th, 2023. At this time, we call the meeting to order at 6:30. If we would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Mr. Groen and the invocation by Dr. Balmer.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you that we can gather here tonight. We pray for your wisdom as we make very important decisions for our district. Guide us and help us to continue to move us in the right direction. We give you huge thanks and just praise for our wonderful students that show up each and every day and a staff that is so committed to meeting their needs. We are just truly blessed. We ask that you'll just continue to watch over Silver Creek and keep us safe, and we pray a special blessing on our families as they travel here this upcoming break. We hope everybody has a great time, but please keep them safe as they travel. We ask that you'll just continue to pour your blessings out on our school corporation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Roll call. Mr. Basham is absent tonight. We hope that he starts to feel better as he's under the weather. Ms. Bright?
Here.
Ms. Franklin?
Present.
Mr. Groen?
Present.
And I am also present. We have quorum. Dr. Briggs, any emergency additions or revisions to the agenda?
Yes, good evening. I do have some revisions to the agenda. The first revision would be under number 8, consent agenda, under letter C, other, and under letter C, other, number 3, it currently states proposed pay scale change for substitutes. I would request to add the word classified, so it would read proposed pay scale change for classified substitutes. The next revision would be under C, other. I would request to add Roman numeral 5, request to approve May 2nd, 2023 Election Day as an e-learning day for Silver Creek High School. Again, under letter C, other, Roman numeral 5, request to approve May 2nd, 2023 Election Day as an e-learning day for Silver Creek High School. Moving on to number 9, discussion action items. Under letter A, discussion item, I would like to take Roman numeral 1 and delete legislative update and replace that with Roman numeral 1, Parks Board Representative. So we're going to, I would recommend switching out number 1, legislative update, with Parks Board Representative. And the last revision to the agenda would be under number 9, discussion action items. Under letter B, action items, I would request that Roman numeral number 2 be deleted. Request to approve a revised contract with CSO. Again, letter B, action item, Roman numeral number 2, request to approve a revised contract with CSO to be deleted. And that is it for revisions. Thank you.
All right, you've heard Dr. Briggs' recommendation. The only thing I just want to bring up is on the Election Day e-learning for Silver Creek High School. As you remember, Dr. Briggs, Dr. Balmer tried to reach out to the county, I guess it was after November, to move voting location from the high school due to the construction and not having ample parking, and the fact that where they vote in the back of the building was a construction zone that was not granted. And they actually need the high school for a voting location. And so it's not something that, we didn't foresee coming. We were hoping to get some kind of a waiver for not using the high school, but unfortunately that did not happen. Any questions on the consent agenda?
Yeah, on that one, is that going to be synchronous or asynchronous? I know we only get 3 asynchronous, so I'm not sure where we're at with that.
Synchronous, right?
That would be synchronous for the high school.
Okay.
And it's just the high school, no other buildings. Any other questions on the additions or the revisions to the consent?
The only thing I'll make a comment about with regards to that is that I don't know if consideration for all the buildings being on e-learning day, the only reason I think we consider it in the first place was because of safety. I still think you have a lot of people on campus that day in our parking lots could go into the wrong buildings. Like, I just think that everyone coming on campus where our three main buildings are, I think it's safest to shut down all three buildings and send all the students home if we're gonna have that many people and that much traffic on our campus. With that being said, though, we can leave it as it's on there. We can consider putting everybody on an e-learning day that day. But you'll have a flood of people coming onto the campus, period, not just into the high school building, but that was the original concern with safety. So you have a lot of people in general on the campus.
Do you want to move this to discussion?
We can, yep. And I would think when we get to that point, I know we did a similar thing in November. I would be curious, the principals that are here, just to get their input as well. As you know, this came up late yesterday into today, so I think we were able to reach Dr. Eckert to get his input on it. We were going to do it, but the other principals probably were not even aware we were going to make this tonight, so.
Okay, so we want to add that to a discussion action. I remove it from the consent agenda and move it to discussion action item.
Yeah, I would move it to letter B, action item.
B7. I'm sorry, yeah, B7.
Yep, B7.
Okay. All right, so we are striking number 8, C5 from the consent agenda and moving it to 9 discussion action items, B7. Okay. Any other questions or discussion on the additions or revisions? Hearing none, do we have a motion to bring those to the floor?
So move.
Mr. Grohl makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Ms. Bright seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next up, we have the approval of the minutes from February 21st, 2023 regular board meeting and March 8th, 2023 special board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Ms. Bright makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grohl seconds. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Dr. Briggs, any recognition or presentation?
We will withhold our recognition this evening until
Okay,
some more
further
voting
time.
takes place.
Yep. All right, Dr. Ballmer, we have finance and operations update.
Yes, good evening. The moment everybody's waited for, our monthly financial report. Again, we'll start with our two major funds, the Education and Operation Fund. So beginning with education, our beginning balance as of January 1st, 2023, which starts our budget calendar year, was $4,970,832.27. Our year-to-date revenue, $3,930,973.84. So again, that's what we've receipted in all the way through February. Our year-to-date expenditures through February, $3,515,608.21, with an ending balance at the end of February in our education fund, $5,386,197.90. We are 15.3% spent at this point. Anticipate being spent at about 16.7%. Just a couple key takeaways. Keep in mind, the education fund, the revenue is mainly funded by our ADM, which is our students, which calculates your basic tuition support. And also on those expenditures, we do transfer money into our operations, which counts as an expenditure to help cover operation expenses. So we're currently revenue exceeding expenditures, which is great. And also we're underspent for our appropriation for 23. Just a couple things to keep in mind. One, our spring ADM count did go down by 24 students, 15 of those being midterm. So that is good news, but it does count against your ADM. So we're funded about $6,500 per kid. So that would be about an $80,000 adjustment we'll see on our total basic tuition support. But it's common that we do lose the kids in spring and gain them back in the fall. So I assume that we'll probably pick that revenue back up. And then moving on to our operation fund, beginning balance as of January 1, 2023 in operation, $3,530,127.66. Our year-to-date revenue in operation, $653,213.54. Expenditures through February, $1,080,588.34. With an ending balance in our operation fund of $3,102,752.86. We're 12.4% spent at this point. Expected spent at 16.7%. It's very common that the revenue will exceed expenditures in your operation fund, and that's because the main revenue comes in June and December when we collect our property taxes. revenue, and the main revenue sources that funds your operation during that meantime is that transfer from your education to operation, which you see in your revenue for operations. Moving on, some additional finance information. We did have our treasurers meeting with our central office treasurers and our building treasurers. We had a great meeting. I just want to brag on them. They have taken on some big tasks this year, executing our requisition plan, which we have switched to an electronic requisition plan, with setting up all the fees, with tying in teachers to the fees so they can leverage that electronic requisition. And it has been very transparent, it's been very efficient, and everyone is doing an outstanding job, and it also really helps with our internal controls. So just kudos to them and what they're doing. And believe it or not, we're already talking about the end of the year. So we're talking about getting our fees set for next year, dealing with delinquent accounts, doing our textbook inventories and all those things. So they're working hard on that. But outstanding team, financial team. Glad to work with all those individuals at the building and central office. Moving on to operations, beginning with human resources. Under Ms. Miller's leadership as our director, the Human Resources Department continues to collaborate with our technology to get the Incident HR, our new HR ticketing system, up and running. This will help with organizing employee onboarding documents and compliance pieces for new hires, including one go-to place to house employee documents for applications and payroll forms. The ticketing system piece will allow employees to submit new tax forms and make other HR requests through the system. So this will be very advantageous for our HR and for our employees once it is completely implemented. Also, the second annual staff celebration on May 11th is fastly approaching, and the HR department's been working hard to identify our people who will be recognized at this event for their years of service. So we want to definitely make sure we celebrate them appropriately. So notice will be going out to them soon that they will be recognized at that event. On the food service department, great news on our food service department's cafeteria student bad debt accounts. It may sound a little funny, but as I read through here, you'll understand. Our total debt is approximately right now $539.29 in debt for the entire district. Based on the national total, the average of debt per child is $170.13 yearly. Right now, Silver Creek SCSC's average meal debt per child is $17.39 for the district. And just to kind of reference that, just a few years ago under Wes Clark, we were actually over $100,000 of debt. So cafeteria managers, Josh and his team are doing an outstanding job communicating with parents and keeping the bad debt to a minimum. So kudos to Josh and his team and to our families for doing their best to keep their accounts current. Also, Mr. Sinclair has been working very hard on an IDOE system error that caused a direct certified Medicaid matching issue from July 2022 through February of 2023. And SCSC did have 63 students that were affected by the IDOE error. Mr. Sinclair's revised the site claims for those months and updated the students' accounts to reflect the appropriate benefits they're receiving. And now we're identifying refunds that need to go out due to this issue. I can tell you, Josh spent countless hours trying to clean this up. This was quite a task getting this all done, but he did an excellent job of getting it cleaned up for our families and getting people identified correctly. On the technology side, Mr. Smith and his team continue to monitor network and work with security vendors to improve our security posture. We're very thankful that we have an IT team that recognizes that cyber threat is very real and are taking preventative measurements to reduce our risk. Technology team is currently in the planning stages to upgrade our storage server infrastructure as well, and along with some classroom technology, and both of these will be of benefit to our staff and students. On transportation, Ms. Cahafer's team recently capitalized on a great deal on tires for our buses. She bought multiple sets of front tires through a special program that Michelin is offering for government buyers at the Bauer Built Tire Service in Clarksville. Normally, front tires are right around $700 a piece. However, through this program, they were only $370, making tires close to half off. And we're excited to continue to strive to save while servicing our buses. And the transportation team and central office would like to send a special thank you to our Dragon Pals bus drivers, Kim, Penny, Donna, and Roxanne, for their dedication and diligence delivering our Dragon Pals friends home safely on extended Tuesdays and Thursdays for an awesome program dedicated to our students at SCSC. Moving on to facilities, Mr. Poole and his team have been working behind the scenes to prepare for our LED upgrade at Silver Creek Primary School, Silver Creek Elementary School, and Silver Creek Middle School. Work has begun at Silver Creek Primary, and we expect all three projects to be wrapped up by the end of March. The high school will see this LED upgrade in the upcoming construction project. Teaming with Energy Harness and a rebate from Duke will bring about some huge energy cost savings to our district. We're also working on plans to complete the LED conversion in gyms and common areas that have refined lighting fixtures instead of the standard panel lights that didn't qualify for this rebate. And wrapping up with construction, again, just to reiterate, athletics are still on time with football and track, the football track being ready this fall and baseball and softball ready in the spring of 2024. I don't know if you noticed, but our light went up. So I really want to say that the Friday night light, just looking forward to hearing that and seeing that on the news and how awesome that's going to be this year when this is completed. And Sprint Turf is out there currently getting everything prepared to put the turf down. Last thing I will mention is we are drawing close really soon to advertising for our bid packages that will be going out for a high school. There will be two main bid packages that go out. The first one is the majority of the high school work, which will be published in the newspapers on March 24th. A pre-bid meeting at Silver Creek High School GPR on March 29th at 3:30, and a bid opening date at Silver Creek High School GPR April 27th at 6 p.m. And then our second bid package for our auditorium work will be getting published on April 14th. With a pre-bid bid meeting at Silver Creek High School GPR April 19th at 3:30 p.m. And again, our bid opening at the Silver Creek High School GPR on May 18th at 6 p.m. We're very excited about that. I know Mr. Shireman's team has been working diligently to speak with contractors, and we're hoping for a lot of people interested in the work that's about being done, and we're very excited about that project to start. And that's it for me.
Any questions for Dr. Balmer on finance or operations?
I just want to say how inspiring that sounded. I was waiting for you to say, come on down or something like Price is Right or something. That was great. All good news. Thanks for the update.
Dr. Briggs, student services and curriculum?
Yeah, I don't know how I'll follow that up, but spring break's coming. No, I don't have much. I know with the spring in the air, we're wrapping up some testing. I know high ability testing just wrapped up here at the elementary, and then I'm sure iLearn is right around the corner. And then just thanks to our departments and our staff who typically fall under our curriculum director. Those guys have been doing a heck of a job here in the last several weeks. So thank them. No news is good news from my end. And also, there's two pieces of great news, but I'm going to defer to see if the elementary and the middle school covers those, and if they don't, then I'll come back. But I don't want to steal their thunder, so that's all I got.
All right. Susan, do we have any community input? Would anybody like to provide community input? All right. Dr. Briggs, the consent agenda?
All right, under consent agenda, letter A, finances, we have numbers 1 through 4. Under letter B, personnel, certified, we have numbers 1A, 2A, 3A and B, and 4A and B. Under Roman numeral 2, classified, we have number 1, A, B, and C, number 2, A, and under letter C, other, we have numbers 1 through 4. And that's it for the consent agenda.
All right, we have a motion to bring the consent agenda to the floor.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Franklin makes the motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Under number 9, discussion action items A. This is up for vote. It's just more of a discussion. I was contacted earlier today by the president of the Parks Board for the town of Sellersburg. As you guys know, we have as a school corporation, we actually appoint one person to the Parks Board as a representative. They are asking, since we're a few months behind in that process, that within the next 30 days, we post, advertise, interview, appoint. If not, then they would like to go ahead and turn that over to the library board. So basically, from the town's perspective, they have one of their positions on the Parks Board is to either be appointed by the school corporation or by the library board of directors. So they're asking us to come up with the plan to be able to put that in motion and have somebody appointed to their board within 30 days or turn that over to the library board. Do we see any issues with that?
Not entirely. I just think 30 days is pretty quick though with interviewing and turnaround time.
Well, it could
You
be,
know, to
but
post it, interview, and
we're
to
also in
select.
mid-March and this position should have been appointed in January.
Yeah, we were supposed to actually, the last time
And
we spoke about this, we were going to.
So why didn't we? Like,
Well,
what?
We just
also
need to
talked-
get it done at this point.
We also talked
mean-
about actually creating a list of questions. We're supposed to have a questionnaire. We're supposed to have what the applicant would do for us. Yeah, you know, the meeting schedules, everything else, and we hadn't done it.
I mean,
So I think if the library's ready to go and they can do it, I'd say move it to them. I would trust it.
I think we can get it done in 30 days. We can get it
And
done.
I think
Put our
that
next
30
board-
days is loose. I don't think it's necessarily a hard fast. You have 30 days from tonight, but I think that the town would like to see us actually move in the direction.
So I can create the application and get it posted to our corporation website. And then let's pick one of these meeting dates here and decide what day
We can. I think maybe if you can do that, then we can get it to Jerry and the social media team to be able to put that out and maybe gain some interest. And hopefully have a couple of different folks that will apply. And we can go through the process just like we would in a hiring process to a point.
So by the end of this week, by close of business Friday, I'll have the paperwork for approval and review for everybody to put on
Okay.
the site. And then we can pick out one of these dates that we want to have a recommendation made,
I would say our next regular board meeting.
April 11th.
Fair for you? Jerry, any issues getting that posted next week?
Okay.
Who's doing social media now? Susan doing that? Okay. All right, sounds good. We'll go on to number 9, discussion action item B. 1, which is to the request of approval for Miss Sherry Stouffer, retirement effective on June 1st of 2023. We have a motion to bring that to the floor.
That's a move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any discussion other than the fact that apparently we have interactive audience that is vetoing this? We thank you so much for the time that you spent here, and we really appreciate it. And congratulations, pending approval, of course.
yeah, I'd like to say the same. I really appreciate your service and for how you worked the Dragon Pals program for the foundation last year and subbing this year. It was very much appreciated, and you'll be dearly missed. So,
Sherry, I think that you did a great job, especially during the COVID era. I thought you were a sense of calm and reason for a lot of people. I know the mask debate, you brought some really good just advice, I think, for all of us, just to kind of look at the whole picture. And so I really appreciate that about you. And so best wishes. Come back and sub for us. We'll greatly appreciate that and miss you.
There'd be no way I could vote no for this. As a parent who received multiple phone calls from you, I truly appreciate you. And honestly, the calmness that was talked about, it brings you a sense of, okay, everything's fine. I know why you're calling me, maybe. So truly appreciate it and grateful for all your service and have a great retirement.
And just to kind of give people an idea, you work in probably one of our busiest buildings, 900 kids plus, and on a daily average, what do you probably see? 60 to 80 kids a day?
How many of those a day is Kipton? Just asking a question.
Frequent flyers, right? Yeah.
You got the gold card.
That's right.
Yeah. Good luck. Best wishes.
All right. With that being said, do we have all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. We'd like the opportunity for you to step up to the mic and say anything that you want, or any of your fellow colleagues to say anything that they want about you.
Well, thank you just for the privilege of working. I've been here 15 years with Wes Clark and Silver Creek School Corporation. Before becoming a nurse, I worked for a long time as a teacher's aide at various grades and subbing. So I can appreciate the job that teachers do and how hard they work. And so for me, it was fulfilling to be a support person for the teachers. And hopefully I made some difference in the life of some children. And I do hope to be able to come back and sub either as a nurse or a teacher some, and also have plans to work part-time with the Clark County Health Department as a school nurse liaison. So anyway, but I have had wonderful coworkers and bosses. I brag on them a lot. I could not have made it through COVID without my principal and the office staff. They've become just wonderful friends, and I appreciate coming to work where at times when there have been mistakes made, I never felt threatened. I always felt like I had the support of my administrators and boss, and that, it was always more, let's look at what happened and why and what can we do to improve for the next time. So I've just been really appreciative of the positive work environment here. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to start sobbing now. I've said this on more than one occasion that if you Google school nurse, you should find a picture of Miss Sherry Stouffer. She truly encompasses everything that makes up a superb school nurse. For the last 15 years, she has touched many lives. She powered through countless hours during a global pandemic, provided leadership to her team as well as myself with her wisdom and knowledge, and is just an all-around delightful person to be around. Sherry, your devotion to the job and the kindness, care, and compassion you show our dragons is a testament to the wonderful person you are. Although you will be greatly missed next school year, you deserve a long and happy retirement, and we wish you all the very best. This is just a small token of our appreciation, but it says, by touching so many lives, you have changed the world, and Sherry, you truly have.
Thank you, Casey. Next up, under number 9, discussion action item number 3, we have the request to approve the agreement, the memorandum of understanding, or also known as the MOU, for the water main extension, which is a partnership between the town and the school corporation. You guys have a copy of the memorandum of understanding in your board packet. Do we have a motion to bring that to the floor?
I so move.
I heard Ms. Bright first, so we'll go with Mr. Bright. Mr. Groen, would you like to second?
I'll second.
Mr. Groen seconds. Any discussion? Only thing I'll say is I appreciate the town working with us and in a partnership to get this done for what's best for our school corporation and also for the town of Sellersburg. So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next up is the request approval for change order ASI number 011. Dr. Briggs or Dr. Balmer, do you just want to go over a brief synopsis of that change order?
Sure, absolutely. So this change order is to reflect work that was originally scheduled to be completed in Phase 2 to be shifted to Phase 1, and that is due to make sure we don't disrupt any work that's being done in Phase 1. So this is mainly running utilities. The water pipe extension is also included in this, and again, this is all about making sure, essentially, kind of make an example, make sure we don't put concrete down and then later have to run utilities or a pipe and tear some concrete up that we just put down. So we're being very proactive here. We know we need to shift this back in, so this change order will allow us to go ahead and get that work done.
Total overall dollars the same. It's just moving from Phase 2 to Phase 1, correct?
Yes, and actually it's going to save us money because if we ended up doing it in Phase 2, not only is it going to cost us what it costs now, it's going to cost us the work that we're going to have to tear up and then redo again.
Perfect. We have a motion to bring the change order to the floor.
Also move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Ms. Franklin seconds. Any discussion needed?
just want to say thanks for the diligence for looking over that, because at the end of the day, we're always trying to look away for savings, and that helps save us a lot. And at the end of the day, I truly appreciate that.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next up is the request for the approval of the latchkey contract. Dr. Briggs, you want to go over and give the public a, or Dr. Balmer, sorry.
Yeah, so we put a request for proposals for our latchkey. That's a 3-year contract. Stay and Play is our current provider, so we did submit our RFP like we should. We did have 3 respondents. In that, we had a committee made up of our Ms. Myers, myself, Ms. Franklin, to review those proposals. And we came to the conclusion that we selected Youth Link as who we'd like to award the proposal tonight, or that is our recommendation from the committee. That basically was made on 3 principles, and that is the tuition for our families and some cost savings that to our family. The programming, we feel like Youth Link has a great dynamics of both academic and activity that they can provide programming for our students, and then also their experience. They do have experience of providing a latchkey in both Greater Clark and Clarksville, who both gave them great reviews. And so again, that is the committee's recommendation to move forward them on a 3-year contract as our latchkey provider.
Awesome. We have a motion to bring the contract to the floor.
I'll make that motion.
Ms. Franklin makes a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any discussion needed?
No, I'll just echo what Dr. Balmer said. I, was on the committee of review, and I think we had some really good options to consider. Obviously, our past vendor, we are switching, but we always look for ways to improve. And I definitely think that YouthLink is a vetted organization that is currently in about 17 other schools in our county that does provide that academic component, which I think is going to be greatly utilized by families to be able to send your child or children after school and have academic assistance as an option, as well as kind of some physical activity and learning as well, is going to be good for our kids. So I look forward to seeing how that grows and develops in our buildings. I think it's going to be an asset to our families and community.
The one thing I didn't see on there is, because they are in 17 schools, they have enough staffing to provide for us.
Yeah. I mean,
It wasn't in the committee notes. I just want to make sure.
yeah, I think one of the things that they do, and I don't know exactly what the term is, but they kind of have a liaison and a director just for the specific site. So Silver Creek would be its own site. And so I feel like what they presented to us is going to be a pretty solid program. It's, it's not an organization that hasn't ever done this before. They're very familiar and have a very established system. Their staff are trained in a lot of different types of things. One thing that was really notable to me was that they also are capable and kind of trained to deal with special education students. And so, now that we have a broader kind of population of those students on our campus, I think that they're going to be qualified in a deeper capacity than what we have been having before. And so I think that we're going to move forward in a good direction.
Yeah, just to speak to that, part of the agreement is that YouthLink will maintain a site coordinator and site assistants based on enrollment to meet the 1-to-12 ratio for children 4 to 5 and a 1-to-20 for 6+ in accordance with our state compliance.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add on, I'm very familiar with YouthLink. I've worked for them in the past and have stayed connected with them throughout the years. And I was very excited to see them on the agenda and what they'll bring with enrichment for the students after school and just all the programming that they offer. I think this is a really exciting move for Silver Creek.
All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. We have a couple representatives with YouthLink tonight. If you want to address the crowd or the board, please do so.
Yeah, I'm Jerry Leonard, the Executive Director for YouthLink, and we're extremely excited to be able to continue our partnership with Silver Creek. I know being tall doesn't help all the time, but with our current program that we currently work with Silver Creek with our in-school support. So this is just a great way to add to that. And with your question about the staffing, yes, when we had taken that into consideration, making sure that we were going to be able to do that and do it well. And we would even thought about using the person that we use for our in-school support being a part of this as well, so that we show that continuity, so that we keep that going. But we're very excited to be a part of that. And as always, it's a true partnership. So anytime you need anything more, let us know.
One thing to note too is the contract, nice to put a face to a name, saw that you wrote that up, that we possibly, based upon numbers, if there's a need, we'll be offering prior, based upon the school start times and things, will be before and after school care. So
Right, yeah.
So that's an addition. We haven't had that in the past, but I look forward to kind of seeing how it all comes together.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're going to actually make sure that we have a location here at the elementary school as well as in the primary. And then we'll cover off days as well, just to make sure that, because the parents still work.
Right.
So we're making sure, so we've worked out some really good deals here. So I think it's really a good win for both Silver Creek, for YouthLink, but mostly for our students. So we're very excited about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Up next is number 6 under discussion action items, which is the request permission to apply for the common school loan. I think we've talked about that in the last couple of board meetings. We have a motion to bring that to the floor.
Also move.
Mr. Groen makes a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
Ms. Bright seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. Next up is the addition of moving the e-learning discussion for May 2nd, Election Day, for Silver Creek High School into discussion action items. You heard what Christy had brought up earlier, and the reason for moving that. I guess, Dr. Briggs, can we kind of go back a little bit just to November, because we had this same discussion in,
You want to vote for it?
Huh?
You want to vote for it to bring it to the table to talk about it?
yeah, I guess we can, probably need to. We have, go ahead and have a motion to bring it to the floor.
I so move.
Ms. Bright makes a motion. Mr. Groen, you want a second?
I'll second.
All right.
There we go.
The conversation we had back last year was to leave our younger students in school because of the fact that their buildings weren't impacted. I think you had conversation with teachers and, the administrators in the building. Can you just kind of bring that up?
Yeah,
I think we were
we-
just mirroring this last minute.
Absolutely, yeah, we did this very similar thing. I think we even had to add it as a late addition to the school calendar. To have our kids in school was always the best thing for them. And yes, safety is always our top priority. I'm not aware of any hiccups that presented to the other buildings. I think we also need to factor in what potential hardships does that put on our families to have especially their younger children at home. But yeah, back in November, that was discussed amongst the admin team, amongst our teachers. I do not recall anything out of the ordinary from that dialogue. We do have principals here, though. They can correct me if I'm wrong there. And like I say, this time, this literally came up in the last several hours. And so, except for Dr. Eckert, which was probably a text or a phone call from Dr. Balmer, the principals aren't even aware of it. I did reach out to Ms. Schwartz of the Teachers Association and let her know what the recommendation was going to be and why, and had no questions from her or anything of that nature. But yeah, we want to do what's best. So I think it's a great question to ask: is should we do that? And I don't think we can go wrong either way. But again, I always go back to that when kids are in school with our teachers, that's where the learning is going to be maximized.
Did they allude to future dates, going to the next year or anything else? Because
Yeah, I did go down there to meet with them, and I've had several discussions, and right now, they feel very adamant that they need to use our building and want to continue. They're willing to work with us and be flexible as a site, but they want to continue to use that site. And again, we could look at switching buildings and those types of things, but our kind of philosophy so far is how we've addressed this is that by just putting the high school on e-learning allows the younger grades to still go. So that's kind of why we've continued to use just the high school. The only thing I would throw out here is while I can't guarantee it, probably historically, the May turnouts usually are a little lower than November, but again, can't promise
Well,
that.
I'm not so necessarily worried about the turnout this year because it's just municipal elections only. So usually the voter turnout, whether it be May or November, historically is very low. I do worry about 2024 being a congressional election year and a presidential election year, along with the fact that we will be in the midst of major construction inside the buildings. I think we probably need to start developing a plan now with the town that maybe Silver Creek High School is not the location. Maybe it turns to the middle school or something along those lines. But I worry about having a heavy turnout and, historically in the past in election years for presidential and congressional elections, especially in November. At that point in time, November of 2024, we're going to be, really deep inside the high school building.
Yeah, we're meeting with them. They're actually going to come on site to talk about this upcoming, and those are things we're going to continue to have very work at one election at a time, basically, on what's our best path forward. And once construction starts, they're fairly informed that they're going to have to be flexible if they want to continue to use our site. That's been made clear. They've got a new clerk, and again, meeting with the new
Transition.
Yeah, they've had some transition over there. Yes.
And I guess for me, with the admin team here, if there's not any opposal to it, then I agree with you. I think, the best for our students to be is in school, and plus parents, the situation, all that can, change pretty heavily. So
I guess I'd like to hear from Ms. Myers, Ms. Nunn, Mr. Adams. This past November, did you guys have any safety concerns with people entering wrong buildings or put us on any safety alerts or any problems that this would address?
For the elementary, we didn't have any, people running in our building, no. However, we did have a major backup with our transportation. So at the end of the day, we couldn't get people who were gridlocked. We couldn't get people off campus because of the traffic on Renz Avenue. So that caused us an issue.
do you think the new will help you out a little
We
bit?
were already doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was November 1st.
That's what I was going to
First,
ask
yeah,
was
so,
with the buses getting in and out, I just didn't know how that would affect it. But I just think with the recent kind of security concerns that we've had, when you bring, I don't know what the numbers normally are, 1,000, 2,000 people that are coming on campus to vote throughout that day. We had to make a quick decision last couple weeks ago to get the kids off the playground because we had a security concern. If you have 2,000 people coming on campus, I just think that it's a harder situation, I think, to identify who's doing what and when, and it does add concern. So that's what I'm going to bring up and to say is that if we feel like there's concern in the high school, because I think that was our biggest concern, is that we had people in the high school building during the day. We have that many people still on campus with 2 of our additional buildings within close proximity. An SRO who's on campus, they're obviously doing their daily monitoring, but if you have 2,000 additional people on campus monitoring a small surroundings, I think that adds a little bit greater of a task and a greater safety concern.
Is
Jerry,
it
Possible to
election
get
this year.
additional officers on campus during that time?
And Jerry, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe all of our outside cameras that have all been updated and everything else too. So we have a greater capacity too for 360 and cameras and colored and everything else. I think that helps out a ton for outside too. So
Yeah, and I think to Rachel's question, we can always request it. We have a great relationship with the town and the county and make them aware of our concerns, and especially for traffic. And
Yeah, I was going to say for both, for the security and the traffic and all that.
and I don't think it would hurt to ask. It's like, hey, we're providing a service for you. Would you mind helping a service for us?
Right.
Yep.
I would feel better about if we did that because I agree that the kids need to be in school. It's where the best learning occurs. So, but there's a lot of people coming on campus.
Well, I think for 2021 being a municipal election, I'm trying to look it up now, but I think you're probably going to see probably a 15% of what 2022 posed as far as your folks on site to vote. 2022 was a House of Representative election for for the entire state, and we had a Senate election in addition to multiple, school board races. You had, clerks and everything else. The only thing that the town of Sellersburg will be voting on will be the town council, and just historically, that number is just very, very, very small. So I don't necessarily know that we'll see or pose the traffic problems that we had in 2022. But, like Rachel and Christie said, if there's additional officers, if it's just, one or two to help with that,
Right.
I think that would at least be beneficial.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely make the request.
Thank you.
Do you want Christie or the principals a chance? Christie
We
or
got two more
John,
back there.
do you guys, any comments?
From the primary aspect, it didn't affect us because we're not on the same campus.
Correct.
So I think that was, but yeah, there was no issues in November on our end at all.
And really with the middle school events letting out early and going out at different nights, it didn't affect our transportation, but we can do whatever. Everybody else is better.
All right. Well, I think from this perspective, we have a motion and a second. We'll vote on as written, and if that doesn't pass, then we'll vote on a complete shutdown for the entire campus.
Okay.
All right, we have a first and a second for Silver Creek High School e-learning day on May 2nd. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 3-1.
Agree.
All right. This time, we have our principals here. Mr. Adams. I felt like there was something else in there. I did too.
All right. Well, hello. Looking forward to spring break. I think it's much needed for all of us. Those of us that are in education know this is the longest stint of time in a building together without a break. And so our staff and our students have been working extremely hard. And I think everybody's looking forward to some time off to recharge the batteries, get ready for the final stretch of the year. And just really thankful for all the hard work that our staff and students have put in up until this point. Things going on at the primary. This month, we put on a pasta drive to support the pasta shortage at our local, at our food pantry here. Amanda Albrand picked that up on Friday. We raised a ton of pasta. It was actually really entertaining to see it all come in. Pasta everywhere, classrooms, office, outside of my office. Don't know why that ended up there. I was like, why is this box of pasta here? And they're like, oh, it's pasta drive today. So we had an awesome showing of people volunteering to bring in pasta. So we just wanted to give a shout out though to the food pantry. What an awesome asset for our community. And we really appreciate everybody's hard work that supports that. In light of March Madness, we had our own little March Madness. I think Ms. Campbell brought it up last time that we had a board meeting that we had our favorite character, storybook character tournament, and the results are in, and the Grinch was the winner this year. I was a little disappointed my vote didn't win, but that's okay. I was hoping Pig the Pug would have won. But everybody had a really good time with that. It was essentially like a Sweet 16 bracket, and there were 16 characters, and Ashley Davidson, our librarian, did an awesome job with that. Had a bracket out of her outside of the library so everybody could see the winners and how that went about. And so we had a really good time with that. So kudos to Ashley for putting that together for us. And then lastly, letter D for dependability winners this month. We'd like to congratulate the following letter D winners for exemplifying dependability each day at school. We are so proud of you. Those winners are as follows. Kindergarten, zoom in here. Lila Kaiser, Stella Cleveland, Boldy Walters, Adelaide McPherson, Daisy Robertson, Cruz McCrae, Ronan Coates, Evelyn Stevens, Moonbeam Shywarth, Adeline Stocksdale, and Emmett Bond were our kindergartners. And then our first graders, Grant Davis, Emmy Adams, Renyon Stackhouse, Jackson Moser, Grant Marshall, Keelan Corrick, Ava Murphy, Maddie Lucas, Sawyer Gilreath, and Mila Stark. We hope everyone has a safe and happy spring break. Anything for the primary? Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Aaron? Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Ms. Myers?
Good evening. All right, so first, I want to start by thanking our teachers and staff for their commitment to prioritizing ongoing engagement with all of our stakeholders. We do a great job of blending the involvement and prioritizing students' academic and social needs to ensure that Silver Creek Elementary is one of the best educational experiences around. From our work in the application process through the Department of Education, I'm proud to share with you guys that we have received an excelling designation for a family-friendly program through the Indiana Department of Education. This is our second year in a row for this. It would not have been possible without the amazing teachers and staff at SCE, so thank you to all of them for all that they do for our families and students. On March 7th, we hosted our Spring Family Night. It was wonderful seeing how many volunteers in the evenings. We had teachers, we had custodians, we had assistants, substitute teachers, and administrators all there on ready to help out. The list goes on and on. We supported more than 150 families in the literacy activities that evening. I witnessed parents and kids working together to create and solve problems. There was in-depth conversations in here and tons of smiles. It was really cool. It was neat to see. So thank you to all of our families who came out and joined us for an educational evening. This week, our second grade classes are hosting a wax museum. Students dressed up in different historical figures. They researched and prepared presentations and board presentations for their person. Many of them even memorized their little speech about their person, their historical figure. It was wonderful today. Today we welcomed 93 parents and grandparents to come into the building and visit. And we have 6 more classes to go through. That was just for 4 classes. So we're excited. It was a lot of fun. This week, we're counting down to spring break. So today was dress like your future self. Earlier, I had on a shower cap and old lady glasses. It was Grandma Myers. But and then tomorrow's March Madness, followed by our favorite vacation day and St. Patrick's Day. We're sending students off with some fun spirit days. I'd like to welcome Youth Link. We're excited to expand our opportunities and for our students and families, and thank you for the partnership we're embarking on. And then finally, I couldn't end this evening without talking about Ms. Stouffer. So Sherry, I don't know what I would have done truly to get through COVID without you being my right-hand person, the person I can count on. I called her at all hours of the day and asking her the most random questions about who sits where and what the rule is this week and if they had a mask or didn't have a mask. And Sherry was always so pleasant and wonderful to work with. Her loving demeanor and rapport with our students is just above and beyond. She's the epitome of what a school nurse should be. Ms. Drain was absolutely right. If you looked up school nurse in the dictionary, Ms. Stouffer would absolutely be there. So we're going to miss you. And I have loved the last 4 years of getting to work with you and know you better. And this time is now your time. And so I'm so excited for you. But thank you for all that you've done and continue to do. And best of luck in your retirement. So that's it.
Any questions for Ms. Myers of the elementary school?
No, I did want to say I came in before all the background checks were in, and I just want to say that your team did a phenomenal job going through every one of those, and I know it's a lot of work, so
Really,
kudos to them.
my office staff is phenomenal with that and making sure that we've crossed our T's, dotted our I's, and making sure everyone that comes into our building is safe and it's secure. And if it wasn't for those ladies, I wouldn't be able to do that. So I really appreciate them. They're rock stars.
I know that you've got a lot of visitors that came today and many more through the rest of this week for the display. Do you want to just, for any parents that are listening, remind them of the procedure to enter the building?
Absolutely. So at the beginning of the year, we started with the background checks, sending those home. We started that at meet and greet, handing those out because they take some time to get back. Some of them come back quick. Others are requesting fingerprinting, and that's done through the Indiana State Police, and we have no say in that. And so it is nice when those come back fine and we can just welcome people in. But when there's a fingerprinting on file, we have mailed a letter to the parent saying, this is the steps you have to take, and these are the things that you have to do in order to be able to be okayed to come in. And then once they do that, they provide us with the fingerprinting or the report that comes from the state police, and we can allow them in. When you come on the day to the elementary school, you have to bring your driver's license, and they scan in with their driver's license. So we have a little system, it's a securely system, and that system runs a sex offender background check. And so it would stop any sex offenders from entering our building. We had, for instance, 2 today that it denied them. And what happens when that happens is it pops up on our screen. We can see it, and you compare an offender to the person that's checking in. So you've got their pictures there, and you can compare. So that way you can eliminate any false hits, because the sex offender, it's national that it's running against. Compares name and birth years. So
Well, we appreciate you keeping the building safe.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Ms. Nunn?
Sandy?
They try to keep you out, go to criminal history.
Good evening. I guess I do need to explain. My first thing is I thank you to our climate committee for planning our Spirit Week. It makes the week before spring break much more bearable. We've had Pajama Day, and today is March Madness. So my attire is representing my March Madness hopes and dreams. Hopefully they won't be shattered too soon. There was a lot of red in the building as well, so they were very well represented. Another Indiana school as well here. I think this is Dr. Briggs' thunder, so I'm sorry if I steal it, but I do have to give a shout out to Miss Colwell, our choir teacher. Took 90 plus 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. First time ever to do a choir ensemble. They really, Mr. Smith, you can correct me if I'm wrong, they never really even practiced together. They practiced as 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders, and had to sound as one. So they were ranked gold. So what an incredible accomplishment for that. Yes, very. Our choir, our music departments are, again, second to none, and I'm so thankful for them and all that they give to our students. We are getting ready to transition to that next school year. We're getting ready to welcome in April, at the end of April, our 5th graders coming into 6th graders and welcoming to Silver Creek Middle School. I'd also like to give a thank you to Ms. Wilson, who is our student council sponsor. She and Ms. Horning drove activity buses to Maple Manor today, and our student council played games and talked with and had a great time with some of the residents at Maple Manor. And then they went to the Little League and cleaned up the parks and also did a lot of weed pulling and different things like that. So kudos to our student council for all that they're doing outside and also inside of our school. They've hung up some vinyl clings to decorate our bathrooms, and they've also started to put together just some student need products and personal hygiene products. So if anybody needs some of that during the day, they have access to it to use at school or take home with them. And our student council is organizing that along with our nurse's office. So we really appreciate everybody's help in that. I'd also like to thank Haley Little and Abby Kaufman for giving our COGAT, our high ability test, to all 8th graders. Normally we don't do all of our 8th graders, but this year we felt it was really important since the last time they had the opportunity to take the test, COVID kind of took that away. So we did all 250 8th graders with our testing, and I appreciate all that Haley did to get everything organized. She's also taking on iLearn for the first time and has done a great job getting everything organized, all the teachers ready to go, and is now creating all of our teams in groups to take the test. I would also like to give a thank you or shout out to Ms. Granger for all the work she's done with our Past Seekers Club. This is a group of students that have toured many local historic sites in the Louisville and Kentucky area and also up to Indianapolis. And they will have a year-end trip to Shiloh to learn about the Civil War and the life in the late 1800s and early 1900s. So what a great opportunity she gives our students that way. And we, after spring break, a break that we all are looking forward to and need, we're going to be excited to start all of our spring sports season. So come out and join us at the middle school, and you'll see some great tennis, track, and other activities going on. Any questions for the middle school?
I just want to say, may not always be a fan of the colors you're wearing, but I'm definitely a fan of Trey Kaufman-Wren, and I truly hope he does well, and we wish him the best here from Silver Creek.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Boiler up.
You can cut her mic off.
Miss Oliver?
She wanted me to say go IU when I came up here.
Yeah.
I'm still a little upset though, so. All right, we have several updates from the high school as well. First is that our juniors recently completed the SAT on March 1st after several weeks of remediation from our teachers. So we're really anxious to get those results. We're also pleased to note that we're already at 96 completion rate, which is above the required 95%. So we're pretty excited about that. So thank you to all of our teachers and staff who made that testing day a success. Over the last few weeks, we've been diligently working with our teachers in regards to the possible change in our grading practices to move to a rolling semester grade. So the teachers have been working really hard in the process. We had a grading committee that we worked with, and we're working hard to have a plan by the end of the school year so that we can propose that change for the following year. We would also like to congratulate sophomore Michaela Doherty. She was chosen as the 2023 Carson Scholar, which is a national award. She will receive a $1,000 scholarship. She will also receive a medal and a certificate, and the school will also receive a trophy in honor of her accomplishment. So she'll be honored at the annual Carson Scholars Award Banquet, Sunday, April 23rd in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So congratulations to Michaela and her family. I also want to take this time to recognize our math teacher, Mike Day. Ivy Tech recently announced the Sellersburg Dual Credit Instructor of the Year nominees, and out of the 24 partner high schools, 12 instructors were nominated for this award, including our very own Mr. Mike Day. We're also excited to announce that he has now been submitted for consideration, along with other 18 nominees for the statewide Ivy Tech Community College Dual Credit Instructor of the Year award. So Mr. Day received this honor because of his amazing talents in the classroom, his dedication to providing a rigorous and worthwhile academic experience, as well as the work he does every day to increase student academic growth at our school. So Mr. Day will travel to Indianapolis for a celebration and a ceremony this summer. So congratulations and good luck to Mr. Day. Last weekend, the Silver Creek High School theater production of Into the Woods opened and was a large success. The show will continue this weekend as well, so we'd like to shout out the cast, crew, Mr. Sheffield, and everyone else involved for their hard work with the show. And lastly, as we prepare for spring break, the SCHS Travel Club is gearing up for their trip to Europe. The group, consisting of 88 people, includes 64 students, 14 staff members, and 10 other adults who will travel over 10 days to visit London, Paris, Switzerland, and Germany. They will be leaving March 20th and will return March 29th. So thanks to everyone who makes this trip possible, and we wish them the very best. And that's it.
Thank you.
Any questions for Miss Oliver?
No questions, but I would agree. Into the Woods is an amazing musical that everybody should go see. I went this past weekend and it was great. So, and I'm not surprised about Mr. Day. He is a rock star, so that's fantastic.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Drain, anything else? All right, Jerry. He has a cake recipe to share.
I want to begin tonight by saying, Mr. Roundtree, it's great to see you here tonight.
Thank you.
And I want to let you know that I'll continue to lift you up to the Father.
Appreciate
And
it.
I ask for healing for you.
Thank you.
Secondly, I want to say a few things about our testing. Ms. Danielle Mitchell led the WIDA testing, and it's completed. Our WIDA field test, which is something that the state requested schools to do. We're in our final stages there. SAT, as Ms. Oliver said, we've already completed 96%. We've got a few makeups there. iRead 3, I believe, is completed now. Our next hurdle is I Learn, which is the big one. So go team. AP testing also. Also want to thank you as a board for approving, allowing me to apply for a common school loan. That will allow us to bring new technology into the classrooms. We haven't replaced interactive whiteboards since 2009. So, and we put in 18 this year, and unanimously they love them. So I think that that's going to be a great move for us. Now it's contingent, of course, upon the state approving it. And then, unfortunately, in IT, a lot of times people don't see what we do, and actually that's the good thing, because if they knew what we were doing, we wouldn't be doing our job correctly. So by allowing us the opportunity to apply for this, it also allows us to upgrade our servers that we haven't done for 7 years. We've pushed them to their max. And lastly, we've had a storage system that's been here for 8 years now, and we can't push it any further without spending a lot of money. And I felt that being a good steward would not be doing that by spending that money and putting it towards a new one is the best way. So thank you all very much.
We appreciate you taking the stance and doing that, and actually, maybe stepping outside your box and doing it, but we appreciate you doing that.
Thanks, Jerry. Abby?
Jerry's my good friend, and he's right. I go to him too often. Can you fix this phone? Good evening. Testing is underway, so alternate measure isn't testing that all of our special education students do. Our intensive teachers lead that. It starts the Monday we return from spring break and goes through May 11th. So they are completing that. They have about a month to complete that with our students in our intensive programs. Transition also for next school year is in full swing. Our preschoolers, first graders, fifth and eighth graders are all transitioning to new buildings, and in special education that comes with transitioning caseloads and new teachers and IEPs and behavior plans and all of that programming. So I'm thankful for the administration and all the meetings that we've already started to have and will continue to have as we close out the school year. It is Disability Awareness Month, if you weren't aware, and so I would like to just highlight our Progress program at Silver Creek High School. It's taken off the last few weeks thanks to the hard work of Silver Creek High School, but also the transportation department. A special thanks to Miss Carrie Kahafer and our bus driver, Anna. For those of you who may not know, the Progress program's purpose is to provide community-based instruction, generalization of skills, social learning, and vocational opportunities for our students receiving special education services at Silver Creek High School. The program allows for our students to gain a variety of work experiences, gain employment and soft skills required of jobs in their career interest areas, helps to build confidence, but it also develops relationships between the high school and the community that connects our young adults to employment. Ms. Hafer has been instrumental in this planning. We're excited to offer these opportunities to our high school students within the Sellersburg community as we move forward this year and in the future as well. Thank you to Dr. Ecker, our job coach, Chris Warning, and to special education teacher, Mary Fanning, as they work together to assess students' job skills and individual strengths for volunteer opportunities and employment as our students start to look towards post-secondary life. So any questions from me?
Any questions from Ms. Compton?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley. Dr. Briggs?
Okay. Well, yes, I'll echo Jerry's comments. Glad to see Mr. President back in his chair.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Also welcome to Ms. Susan Westfall, our new administrative support specialist, getting a seat at the table here. Susan transferred over from another position at central office. We're glad to have her in this position. Congratulations again to Sherry. All the best to you. After COVID, it's kind of all downhill, so I don't know. But no, I stepped in the middle of COVID, and as everyone had said, you were a lifesaver, and I appreciate you and wish you all the best. We are about ready to start our strategic planning. That starts next month. We'll also start our curriculum audit here very soon. And congratulations to Silver Creek Elementary, on your family-friendly schools recognition, and also, as already been stated, but thank you for all the screening you do for the safety, and just to our parents, thank you for your patience. I'm sure everyone understands that it's a necessary evil that we do, but we're glad to do it because it keeps our kids safe. And then safe travels to our high school students and staff on their trip, and hope everyone has a safe and relaxing spring break. That's it.
All right. Dr. Bowman?
I just want to congratulate our staff on we always call it the middle school decline. As Mr. Adams alluded to, it is a long haul to spring break often, but our teachers and our staff stay dedicated to educating our students the best way possible, but definitely an overdue break. So very just appreciate their efforts and always willing to go above and beyond. I do want to thank Youth Link for being here tonight and also their partnership. I do want to mention Stay and Play, who's our current provider. They have been with us for, I believe, for 29 years. And while we are excited about moving forward with Youth Link, I would just want to thank them for serving us with their Latchkey program for the last 29 years, and wish Stay and Play and Ms. Porter the very best. Just want to thank you for their commitment. Mike, Mr. Day, I want to congratulate Mr. Day. I had him, I think it was in his first year. He is by far one of my all-time teachers. I will echo, he is just awesome in the classroom and makes learning fun and exciting, and just has a way of getting math through to the students. I also remember him doing a reverse dunk on me. I believe it was me at the student faculty game. So I'm not sure he can still do that, but that's a memorable moment as well. Ms. Stouffer, while I didn't work directly with you in our building, you were always, there was constant communication. You were constantly willing to help. So your main impact, I know, was at the elementary, but it was also through district-wide, because that's just who you are as a person. And I have no doubts that you not only made quite a difference in student lives, but our faculty and families as well. So no doubts there, and just wish you the very best. Just want to echo again, just wish everybody safe travels over spring break. Please buckle up if you're driving, and that's it.
Ms. Bright?
I just want to say I really appreciate hearing all the positive things that are going on in our buildings from our admin and directors. And I wish everyone, staff, teachers, students, a wonderful and relaxing spring break. I hope you get time to recharge.
Ms. Franklin?
Just one thing I wanted to note that was on the consent agenda, just the approval of the two positions that are going to be over at central office, which are the director of curriculum for the elementary and secondary. I really appreciate Dr. Briggs's vision on this. I think this is going to add a big focus even further on academic performance and just what we can bring to our students. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing the posting of those, the hiring of those positions, and just looking to just further continuously growing our programming that we have, for high ability, ESL, everything elementary and secondary. I just think that those are going to be two great additions to our campus, and really looking forward to it.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Crum?
Again, Chris, glad you're back. I knew my spot was only temporary because I know you had kicked cancer's butt, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Safe travels to everybody on spring break. And I also want to give a shout out not only to Trey, but Izzy, who's our cheerleader at Indiana, and all of our other athletes that are out there preparing for March Madness. Good luck, and we appreciate you being Dragons.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody's well wishes. It is good to be back. I will apologize for my attire, but I have yet to try to put on anything that buttons or has a belt. So I'm still in the elastic sweatpants stage. Ms. Stouffer, congratulations on retirement. It is the epitome of what everybody wants to do, and so glad that you're able to do it. I hope all of our staff and our students enjoy spring break. As we've heard tonight, it is a long road, and for us that have students in the school corporation, we know that this week is difficult. So many thoughts and prayers with the teachers and the administrators as they're dealing with children this week. So, so I hope that we have that. And the one thing that comes to mind, I just love sitting here and listening to the staff reports from our buildings. One thing that I do is I watch and I listen to other school corporation board meetings. And, it's proud to sit here and listen to all the good things instead of the bickering and the arguing and everybody questioning everything that goes into this building or that building. And it's just nice to sit back and realize what we have. And so I'm proud of that. So next meeting date's April 11th, 2023, here at the elementary school. Will be a regular school board meeting. April is a 2-meeting month. So we will also have a regular scheduled board meeting on April 25th, also at 6:30 here at the elementary school. At this time, Ms. Bright, would you like to motion for adjournment?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Grown seconds. Excuse me. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Meeting adjourned at 7:45.
Oh.